Today we are covering your database. Goldmine is how it was listed on all of the other materials. I did not update the title on this one, but your database Goldmine. So we're going to dive into this lesson. As always, if you have questions as we move through this, feel free just to interrupt me and ask your questions. I will open up the chat window as well so that I can kind of keep an eye on that in case you want to throw something in there. And let me move you all to a different window. Here we go. All right, now I'm organized. I can see what's going on. Let's hold on. Now I just have to get my computer to participate with me. There we go. We are going to cover today why the database is the foundation of your business, the 4 irrefutable laws of managing that database, the circles of opportunities to build your database, how to get predictable business from it, why your database is I think we already got that. I think this is the one that copies. See, I didn't go over this presentation, but the importance of your database. So when we refer to the database, we're referring to 2 things. Number one, just assume that we're referring to, welcome. Oh, Heather doesn't have her microphone on. Welcome back, Heather. When we are referring to your database, we're talking about all those people that are in your sphere of influence, okay? We are also talking about anybody that you've ever put into a management system, whether it's a pile of stickies on your desk, right? That's your database, or whether it's a CRM or a contact relationship manager. Ultimately, your database, in order to be effective, should have a systematic way of looking up and following up with leads. Okay, so I highly recommend, if you don't have any other options, or if you're looking for an option, if you have something else already in place, to utilize the OneSuite. So Realty One Group offers OneSuite. There is no cost to that. It is free. There are more robust systems out there that have more features and tools and stuff, but they're going to cost you money. So use the free system. Free is good. I would highly recommend getting all of those little sticky notes off your desk and into OneSuite, or that spreadsheet off your computer, or all those open house slips that you've been collecting for 15 years. Get them into some sort of manageable database. Okay, all those people that are on your phone and your contacts list, database. All those people that you interact with on GroupMe because your kids are in sports, put them in your database. Okay, we're getting the theory here. If you've got, that group list of parents from your kids' classrooms that goes out, put them in your database. Okay, collect them all. When you're doing lead gen, when you're doing your farm, when you're on social media, get all of your social media friends into your database. Okay, your database is important because it's going to generate a steady stream of leads and business. Okay, your database also becomes your asset, your legacy, and your exit strategy, right? If I have a bunch of pieces of paper all over my office, on the floor, on the desk, and drawers, and I decide, hey, I'm done with real estate. I don't want to sell houses anymore. I'm going to retire, my exit strategy, right? Or maybe I'm going to move on to something else. If you have a way to sell your book of business, it's hard to sell sheets, but it's way easy to say, hey, here's my database. I can export it with all the notes, all the transactions, up-to-date addresses and phone numbers and contact information, and when the last time I was in touch with them. And here's what I've been doing. And I produce X number of transactions from this database without doing any additional lead generation on an annual basis. You can take that and you can sell it, right? The exit strategy. Or you could sell it and collect referral fees, right? You could just hand it off to somebody and then continue collecting referral fees off that bank of business. So it does become your legacy and your exit strategy. It also becomes that steady stream of leads and business. Okay. There is nothing wrong with a spreadsheet. A spreadsheet is just much harder to manage and to stay on top of Whereas if you use a system like OneSuite, you plug those leads in there. I have a conversation with Antoinette today, and I say, hey, I'm going to check in with you next week. I can set that task reminder in my database to follow up with her next week, along with the conversation that we have today. So the next week on my phone, I get a notification that says, call Antoinette, and I pull her information up. It says exactly what it was that we talked about, exactly what it was that we're supposed to be following up with. And I don't forget and drop the ball on anything. It's harder to do that with a spreadsheet. Okay. It's also harder to find once you go beyond like 100 contacts. It's harder to sort through a spreadsheet and find the person that you're looking for to update their information. Your database can deliver a solid referral-based business, right? We're not just putting people in there because we think they're going to buy or sell their own homes. We are thinking that we're going to put people in there because we are going to ask them for referrals. That means that we don't have to limit the people in our database to people that are local to the area in which we service, because we can refer them to other agents anywhere in the United States and collect a referral fee. Generally speaking, that referral fee is going to be somewhere between 25 and 30%. If I send a referral out and the commission's worth 10,000, all I have to do is connect that buyer with another agent, and I collect $2,500. Who wants an extra $2,500? Anybody? Raise a hands. I like that. I can today, right? So cool. If you could connect 4 buyers a month on a referral basis, you're now making $10,000 a month, and you don't have to leave the house. Who would like to make $10,000 a month without leaving the house? Okay, think about growing your referral network. It's going to create consistent and reliable revenue. Statistics show that if we have a database in place and we're systematically connecting with those people in our database, we will close 1 transaction for every 12 people in that database. Okay, and that would be a MET database, so people that actually know our name. Okay, MET database, 1 out of every 12. Okay, it may be them specifically, or it may end up being a referral from one of those people. And it can take 6 to 12 months to season a contact. What that means is if I put somebody in my database today, it could take 6 to 12 months to end up getting a return on that contact for them to actually begin responding and interacting with me on a regular basis. Okay, any questions about what a database can deliver? All right. Plan your work and work your plan, right? So we need to put together our goals and work that back. And we can talk about that on another session about how you put together what your net income goal is, how we can work it back to how many transactions, how many people that means you need in your database, how many contacts and connections you need to make. Right? So how many connections do you need to make? What type of connections are you going to make, right? So if you're like, man, I need 1 appointment a week. Perfect. How many people do you have to talk to schedule 1 appointment a week? And what are you going to do to talk with, if you're like, man, I've got to talk with 25 people to set 1 appointment. How are you going to make those 25 connections on a weekly basis? Right? And then what is that going to cost you? There's lots of ways to work your database in a systematic process that keeps your costs relatively low or at 0. Okay, I'm a huge fan of lead with revenue, which means that we don't spend a ton of money without making money. And then we're going to take that money that we made, we're going to reinvest part of it into our business so that we can continue to move forward. Okay, so at the beginning, you may be like, hey, I'm not spending any money to make these connections. I'm going to dig in. I'm going to make phone calls. I'm going to go knock doors, whatever it might be. I'm not even going to have something leave behind on the doors because I can't afford a $1 flyer or a 50-cent flyer. Totally okay. Go knock doors. It means you're going to have to knock more doors to make more connections, or you're going to have to make more phone calls to have more conversations that are going to lead to those appointments, right? Which are going to lead to transactions. And please make sure that you are tracking all of this data. How many doors did you knock? How many phone calls did you make? what were your efforts leading up to your open house, and how many people showed up? Out of the people that showed up, how many of those, had agents, didn't have agents? How many did you set appointments with out of the appointment set? How many signed a representation agreement or a listing agreement? And out of those signed agreements, how many turned into actual buyers or actual listings? And then how many of those actual listings or actual buyers closed? Okay. Track it so that you know what your key performance indicators are, or your KPI, your key performance indicators, and that you're going to know next year when you go in to start planning, right? If we're tracking all of our numbers this year, then next year when we go in to start planning, we know exactly how many connections we need to make or how many open houses we need to host in order to be able to reach our goals. So tracking those numbers is super important. Okay. It's also important to track how much money you're spending on those efforts. If we're hosting an open house and we're making door flyers that go out before the open house, when we door knock the properties around the open house, how much are we spending on flyers? Are we buying little popcorns or water bottles for the open house? Again, you don't have to, but you might be. Track those costs so that you know what your cost per connection is. Okay. You want to make sure you're getting a solid return on investment. And this is where, we oftentimes talk about, like, right, we're talking today about digging into your database, and some people try to take the short road. They're like, we're going to pay for leads. We're going to buy leads. They're going to spill over. Okay, well, if you're spending $500 or $600 or $1,000 on leads on a monthly basis, and it takes you 4, 5, 6 months to close one of those, what's your return on investment? And is it really better than not spending anything on open house leads and spending time, which obviously time is a commodity. There's a cost associated with that, but we can sit in an open house and get a lead and close it and not have any cost associated with it, right? So we want to track that return on investment. Our goal within our database is to stay top of mind. Okay. So as we're beginning to work our database, we want to be systematic in that through direct mail, through email messaging, through text messages, through personal calls, through visits to their doorstep, through social media interactions. We want to be systematic on those interactions so that it leads to transactions. Okay. Your goal with the interactions with any client in your database that knows you is going to be 30 to 40 interactions with them on an annual basis to turn them into a client. Okay, so we have a general rule of thumb that's called like a 19 to connect. So if there's somebody in there that doesn't know who you are, right? Like maybe a new open house lead. They saw you at the open house, but they may not remember who you are. We would put them on like a 19 to connect, where we want to reach out to them systematically and touch them 19 times a year to try to connect with them and get them to respond. Once they're connecting and responding, we're going to spend more time and energy because now they know us. We're building that relationship. They may already know us. And we're going to do a 30 to 40 connect campaign to convert them into clients or to get those referrals from them. Okay. Something that might look like would be we should set them all up on either a property search if they are a potential buyer, they don't own their own property, or a monthly market update in their neighborhood to keep them up to date of what's going on in their market. You can do that through Real Scout. I do recommend using Real Scout for that versus using OneSuite. I think it's just a more streamlined. It looks better. It looks cleaner, crisper. It also gives you the opportunity that if they decide to opt out of that they're not opting out of your main database. They're just opting out of Real Scout. So you can still contact them through your main database. Right. So we're going to set them up to do that. You can set up those market updates or a property search through Real Scout. So that's going to be at least 12 connections, 1 per month. In addition, put together a monthly newsletter, right? Something simple, something easy. It could be a newsletter. It could be like a recipe of the month. It could be a home hack of the month, whatever it is. Send something out to them via email. You can put together a full newsletter if you want. There's actually companies that produce newsletters, and email that out to them once a month. So that's 12 more connections. So now we're up to 24 of our 30 to 40 connections, right? We've already knocked out 24. In addition, we want to call them on a quarterly basis. So that's going to be 4 more connections. Okay. And I would highly recommend that in addition to those 4 calls, that at least twice a year, you send something to their door. Something cool, something fun, something they're going to keep and hold on to, like a refrigerator magnet or a fun little pop by. We were talking about doing one with bandanas for their pets, right? Just something fun and entertaining that you're going to drop by. You can knock on their door, just leave it on their porch, something fun, a pop by. You can also mail it to them, right? So now we've got 12, 12, 4. So we're at 28. And then 2 times a year, we're going to stop by their porch. So now we're at 30 already. I do recommend sending out a couple times a year, either like a birthday and a home anniversary card, or a happy holidays, or happy Easter, or who knows, happy spring solstice, whatever that is. Send out 2 times a year something that's going to land in their mailbox. So 2 times a year in person and 2 times in their mailbox. Okay, now we're up to 32. And even better if you would set up to have 1 or 2 events per year that you can invite them to. And it might be as simple as, the office hosts in the summer, the things, I don't think it's Creek Walk. I think it's one of the other ones. But anyways, when they do that, if you can invite, break down your clients to your key people that really know you, love you, and trust you. And each week invite, a handful of those people to join you at the office, right? Invite them to an event or activity. You're not having to spend any money to do that. Go sit at happy hour and invite them to happy hour. Host a gymnastics event at the gymnastics place or an ice skating event, right? Do something fun. Host a national night out. It's not going to cost you anything. Just schedule it in a neighborhood and invite people to show up. Right? A couple of events. It doesn't have to be like huge major productions. It doesn't have to cost you a lot of money. It can be something fairly inexpensive. Just make it fun. Does anybody have questions about how to hit those 30 to 40 connections on an annual basis with your database? If you're an overachiever, in addition to those 4 phone calls, 1 per quarter, once per quarter, you can also text them. And once per quarter, you can also comment or direct message them on social media, right? So now we've just added 8 more connections. We're really close to 40 now, just by once a month staying in interaction with them, either by a phone call, a text message, or a social media interaction, in addition to what we already talked about. So we can make it super simple. Okay, we talked about making sure you plan, right? What are you going to do this year to stay in contact with those people and to continue to grow your database, right? So we want to put a business plan in place. I highly recommend with your business plan that you look at a year calendar and you put things on your calendar in advance. So if you're going to send a newsletter out to your database on a monthly basis, we probably need to put on that calendar that we need to put together that newsletter before you're actually supposed to send it out, right? We need to spend some time thinking about that newsletter or that recipe or that home hack that's going to go out. If we're going to put events into our plan, let's pre-plan what those events are going to be and let's put them on the calendar, and then let's back those plans up so that we know when we're going to start planning, when we're going to send the invites, when we need to reserve the space, when we're going to call to follow up, right? If you plan an event, it's super easy to get 3 or 4 touches just around that event. You can send out a save the date. You can send out the actual invite. You can call them to make sure they saw the invite, and then you can thank them for either coming, or you can say, hey, we're really sorry we missed you, right? 4 touches just around one event. Super simple. And then, as we already talked about, tracking your results. Hold every number accountable and make course corrections as needed throughout the year. I highly recommend that you work your business on a quarterly process, right? So we may have our plan for the year that we're going to execute within our database, or that we're going to choose to grow our database. And then every 12 weeks or once a quarter, we're going to sit down and review what our goals are, how we're doing against our goals, what our numbers are looking like, because we're now tracking how many conversations we're having, how many doors we're knocking on, how many people actually answer, Of those answers, how many have led to appointments? Of those appointments, how many have led to signed agreements? And from signed agreements, how many led to close? We may need to revamp or change something, right? And if we have our numbers, we know where the system's breaking down. Is it that we're not having enough conversations and asking for enough appointments? Is it that we're sitting down and having a lot of appointments, but we need to work on our objection handling to turn those appointments into signed agreements? It could be simply that we're just not asking for the business, right? So where's our system breaking down? Is there something that you thought you would really enjoy doing that you're not enjoying and you want to change it up and revamp it? Like, let's review that every 12 weeks to make sure that we're on track to our goal. Any questions about those two items? All right. The 4 irrefutable laws of your database is number 1, you need to build it, right? We talked about that. Please use a database system. Spreadsheets are cool, but something that you can like actually sort, make notes, set reminders is even better. Highly recommend using something like OneSuite. Build it. Whatever you do, even if it's a spreadsheet, get them off the little sheets of paper floating around your desk. Okay, move away from a Rolodex or just the trash pile and put it into something. A spreadsheet would be a step up, and a database or CRM, a contact relationship manager, would be even better. You want to make sure that you are feeding it daily. So in addition to nurturing it, which is number 3, we need to be adding to it on a constant basis. Okay, so how are we going to add to our database? What sort of lead gen are you going to do to grow that database? Then we're going to nurture it. Okay, we're going to reach in and massage it and make those connections with people. For those people that we're adding to it on a daily basis, again, we want to probably move them into like a 19 to connect, which is going to be very similar to that 30 to 40 to convert. But you're not spending as much time as energy on those people, right? If they don't even know who we are, we're probably not going to go drop something off on their doorstep. Okay, so we're going to eliminate some of those steps. We want to make sure that we're nurturing it, and then we want to maintain it. Okay, please maintain your database. Fill in missing information, right? Take time to, as you're making those phone calls on a quarterly basis, collect the information that you're missing in that database. If your clients move, update their address. If they buy an investment property, add that in as another address for them. Add in that additional market update, right? If they move, we need to change their market update. We need to make sure that we're shutting off their property searches once they buy a house, right? Turn off the property search and add it over to a market update, right? So you want to maintain that database. You're going to constantly be in contact with these people, adding notes, updating, maybe make sure you add their kids' names in there. Maybe we want to make sure that maybe next quarter our focus is that we are going to add their pets' names, right? So continually add and build it up and make it more robust as you build relationships with these people. Here is our build our database, right? So we want to continue to add to our database. So as you look at your database, it's going to look like these circles. Okay, think of it as these circles. So our inner circle, those people that know us, they love us, they already trust us, they don't care what business we're going to do, they're going to refer us to themselves and their friends and family. Those are going to be that inner circle, the friends, family, and past clients, right? They know us, they love us, they trust us. When they hear real estate, they say Maciel. Okay, our cheerleaders. We're going to spend the most time, energy, and effort on that inner circle. The next people that we want to use to build our database is we want to use those that are connected, but maybe we haven't done business yet. So that's that middle circle. Those would be like family activities or family groups, social media, right? People on social media are past coworkers, maybe businesses that you use, community and civic group, church groups, medical professionals, neighbors, right? Those people that know us, we may be doing business with them, but they're not doing business with us. Why are they not doing business with us? Because we need to systematically touch them and earn their business. Okay. The outside circle, those white dots, those are not connected, right? That's what we're going to use to grow our database. So We already have most of those people in those 2 inner circles, in our phone, on our social media, on tabs of paper floating around our house, in our address book, and we just need to add them to a systematic program that we can reach out to them and touch them. In addition to that, we want to be building our database and growing it with things like website traffic, networking groups, cold calling. Please make sure you scrub it for the do not call registry, sign calls, farming, direct mail, online ads, right? Those lead generating activities. Okay, so you're going to build up your database with those 2 inner circles. You're going to make it more robust, work on moving people from that middle circle to the inner circle. And then we're going to grow our database with that outside circle. Okay, as you build your database, we want to make sure that we separate our contacts by type so that we can send different messages to different groups, right? So we want to categorize them with buyers versus sellers, with vendors versus clients, with past clients versus, potential leads for the future, friends, family, our inner circle, right? So we may want to label them A, B, and C, or gold, silver, bronze, so that we know who's in that inner circle and we can easily sort through them so that we know who we need to mail things to or who we need to go drop things off at, right? So we're going to categorize it. And then we're going to separate them by source. So you can identify potential customers and referral sources, right? Source. How did they come to you? Is it sphere of influence? Were they just part of your friend's family, right? Your inner circle? Were they referred by somebody? If so, track who they were referred by, right? Track the number of referrals you get and reward those people for referring. Did they come from social media? Did they come from an open house? Did they come from, how did they get to you, right? You want to feed your database daily, right? We talked about that outside circle. That's how we're going to feed that database. We're going to add people in. And if you're having a conversation with people, this is a great way to build up your database with people. This little 1-minute script. It just says, hello, my name is Amy. From Realty One Group. From time to time, I run across useful updates about the Vacaville real estate market. I'm happy to send them to you. Is email or snail mail better for you? Right? I would probably say is email or text better for you? Right? And then ask for their contact information rather than offering them yours. Keep in mind to build your database, you want their contact information. So it's often not advantageous to have cards on hand. Don't have cards in your pocket all the time, because if somebody asks for your card, I would rather get their contact information than give them mine. I want to be in control of that relationship, and I want to be able to feed my database with their information. Okay. You want to nurture your database with a consistent branded message that includes personal connections. Okay, we've kind of talked about this already, that we're going to plug them into that 30 to 40 touch campaign. We want to make sure that we're calling them, that we are texting them, social media, sending out newsletters, keeping them up to date on what's going on in the market, that they have a constant barrage from us from different methods, reminding them that we're in real estate and that we're always happy to help them with their business or help them with their friends and family's business, that we take referrals, right? So by being systematic, it keeps them to be seasoned without being overwhelmed. So instead of us calling them every 2 weeks, it keeps it so that we're like, hey, once a quarter we call them, and then we kind of text them and prep them for a phone call. Now, with the phone calls, I will say that I do highly recommend anytime you reach out to somebody in your systematic touch process for a phone call, that you do it on a 3-step approach. So if this is the week that I'm contacting this group of 20 people, I'm going to call them all on Monday. I'm going to leave them a voicemail message that says, hey, it's Amy. I was just calling to touch base with you. Hope you're having a great week. I'll try you later this week, right? Something simple and easy. Later this week, I'm going to call them back. I'm going to follow through on what I said. I'm going to call them back again. If I don't get them, I may leave them a message, or I may go ahead and shoot them over a text message and be like, hey, it's Amy again. I was just hoping to touch base with you to see how things are going. I'll catch you later. Later that week, I'm going to call them a 3rd time. Okay. Call number 3, they don't answer the phone call. I'm hoping with a 3-step approach that now they're starting to look for my phone call, because I told them I'll reach out to them later. Day 3 that I call them, and it may be like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It could be like a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. It could be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It really doesn't matter. Just put a plan in place and execute it. Day 3, when I call them, I'm going to say, hey, it's Amy again. I was hoping to touch base with you. I hope everything is going good. If I can be of assistance to you in any way, real estate related or not, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm going to leave them that message again, and then I'm going to call them again in 3 months. Okay, I'm not going to continue to call them until I get them. I'm just going to leave it at that, and they can reach out to me. You could also send them a text message on that third contact if you wanted to, but I would probably just leave it with the voicemail message. Okay, systematic approach. As we talked about yesterday in the first class, we talked about creating your brand where we have that consistent message with a call to action. We want to make sure we're using the same colors, the same fonts, the same headshots, right? We want it to be a branded message. Make sure you've taking time to develop your OVP or your one value proposition so that you can utilize that maybe even in your messages that you leave behind. Okay. As we're nurturing, you may want to send out an introduction or announcement, right? Have you not contacted these people in a while? Do they not even know that you're in real estate? Are we a secret agent, right? Send out an announcement letter. Hey, welcome. I'm, now doing real estate. I'm going to keep you up to date of what's going on in the market, and I can help you I can help you with your real estate needs, whether it's here locally or anywhere in the United States. Right? Send out an announcement letter. You can follow it up with an email. It might go out as a postcard. You might send out a handwritten note. Then you can always do a follow-up call, right? This is a great introduction. Like, hey, I just wanted to make sure you got my letter I sent out to you to let you know that I'm now a licensed real estate agent working with Realty One. Did you see that, right? Great way to like kind of introduce yourself to those people that you haven't talked with in a while. Super simple little touches. Your social media weekly plan, they have called the 3 clip is what I'm going to call it, right? Comments, likes, and posts. Comment on 3 people's posts daily, 3 likes daily, and 1 post per week. Super simple and easy if you're having problems managing that social media aspect of your business. Super easy way to manage it. I highly recommend, instead of just doing the thumbs up, Facebook doesn't like the thumbs up because they gave you all these other options of like laughing faces and hearts and caring and wow, right? That you use one of those other interactions because it will help your post. It'll help your algorithm for your post to show up better if you're doing it with those other interactions instead of just the thumbs up. And as always, as I mentioned yesterday, when you're doing your 1 post per week, make sure you're keeping it to an 80-20 rule, 80% personal, fun, lifestyle type things, and 1 like business or listing post per week. Okay. Or 20% listings. So 80% personal or lifestyle and 20%, no more than 20% on listings or directly real estate related. You want to make time to update your database, right? We talked about this already, maintaining your database. D is for delete, right? Eliminate any negative, angry, or unhappy people. It's okay to eliminate people that you no longer want to do business with. Focus on positive, cooperative, and happy people. It's your business. You get to choose who you are in business with. I would personally keep the negative, angry, and unhappy people because I just wouldn't service them. I would refer them off to somebody else. Okay. Collect a referral fee. Hey, I've got a buyer that wants to buy a house. I don't have time for them. Can you handle them? I'll pay you, pay me a 20% referral fee. You can keep the rest. Super simple. But you can delete them as well. Servicing your leads. 48% of salespeople never follow up with a prospect. Okay. I fall in that boat. I had open house slips for days. I had hundreds of open house leads that I never followed up with. Okay. Guilty. Not recently. That was in my old life.
Me too. Guilty. But that was in my old life too.
Okay,
This is a new year.
Don't be that person, because when you think about like hundreds of leads, what if I had 100 open house leads and 10 of those had been transactions at an average sales price of, average commission of $12,000 back in the day? I could have made an extra $120,000. I probably had more than that, right? That was like low numbers. 25% of salespeople make a second contact and they stop. Oh, I contacted, Jane Doe, who showed up to my open house. I called her and I called her a second time. She didn't answer my phone call, so I'm not going to call her anymore. She wasn't worth my time. 12% of salespeople only make 3 contacts and stop. Okay. And only 2% of sales are made on the first contact. So 25% of people only make that first contact, well, second contact and stop. And then 2% of sales are made with the first contact. 3% of sales are made on the second contact. 5% of sales are made on that third contact. And 10% of sales on the fourth contact, right? We're still only at 15, 18. 20% of sales are made on the first 4 contacts. 80% of the sales are made between contact number 5 and 12. That's why we say take those leads, those people that maybe aren't interacting with us, and we put them on a 19 to connect. We want to reach out to them systematically every year until they interact with us or tell us or delete us from their contacts, that we want to reach out to them 19 times a year. Okay. Does anybody have questions about why we do this? Do you want part of the 20% or do you want part of the 80%?
80.
80. Okay. And don't just want the 80, put a plan in place to get it. Okay. Put down what those touches are going to look like, how you're systematically going to make connections with those people that you're feeding your database with to turn them into connected people. And then also put a plan in place for that 30 to 40 touches for those people that already know our name to convert them into clients and closings. When we convert leads, we want to identify their needs and wants. We want to use a consultative approach, and we want to listen. This is all about relationships. Okay. The reason that used car salesmen get a bad name isn't because they're salesmen. It's because they don't care about our wants and needs. They care about making the most money on the car in the parking lot that they're trying to sell, that they're getting the bonus off of that month. Okay. Don't be that person. Be the person that has a conversation to find out what they're wanting, what they're needing, what is beneficial to them. Like, what kind of value things are we providing our clients leading up to the transaction that they are opening, that they are keeping, that they are interacting with. Right? If we're sending out a newsletter, what responses are we getting? Do they like the funny memes? Do they like the story about, what they should be doing to upkeep their house? Do they like the funny cat picture? What is it that they like that they're going to interact with so that we can develop that relationship with them? And then when we're making those phone calls, it's not going to be, hey, Maciel, this is Amy. Do you know anybody that wants to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? Click. No. Okay. Goodbye. Right? It's not going to be that. It's going to be like, hey, how was that vacation that you took last month? I saw that you just celebrated a birthday. What's your favorite birthday cake? Right? We're building relationship, family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. Ford sandwich. We're going to ask for the business, but we're going to couple it in with relationship building and asking how people are. If these are people you haven't contacted in forever, then we can just start with a phone call that sounds something like, hey, I know it's been a while. I just wanted to check in and see how things were going. Right? Sorry, I haven't called you in a while. How is it going? Right? And then that might be it. We might hang up the phone. We'll call them 3 months later and tell them we're in real estate. Build relationship. Inside your database, right, we're going to keep in the servicing the leads. So once we gain their business, we're going to service them. We'll dive further into this as we move through the Rev Up program. But the goal is that those people in your database, we're converting them to clients, and we're continuing to offer them this high level of service that doesn't end after the transaction closes. We're going to continue to reach out to them. We're going to continue to contact them to ask them how the house is, to ask them if they have any questions, to ask them if they filed any home warranty claims, right? You can get on a list with the home warranty companies. You can register your clients, and they will actually tell you when you have a client that's filed a home warranty claim. So you can call up that client and be like, hey, Abby, it's Amy. I heard you're having problems with your fridge. Did you get it all worked out, or do you need help with the home warranty company? Right? So you can service those forever. That would be a good thing to keep up to date in your database, is not only their updated address, but when did their home warranty start? What company is it with? Right? Our goal by servicing the leads, closing them, continuing to offer them a high level of service, is that we are going to collect referrals from them. Hopefully you sold them the house they're going to stay in forever and they will never move again. And hopefully they loved you so much that even though they're never going to move again, they're going to refer people to you.
That's not what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that it's too small. They really love the house, but they outgrew it and they're going to buy another one.
I have one family that I have.
But they can't afford a bigger one.
I have transacted over 15 times. I think it's closer to 18 now with this one family. One family.
Wow.
How often are they moving?
Wow.
Wow.
So it started with, he was one of my first original clients. Okay. Talk about people who don't follow up with their people. He was one of my first original clients. I helped him short sell 2 properties in Dixon. I helped him purchase the property that he moved to in Madera. He probably lived in Madera. He didn't like Madera. He didn't live there very long, maybe a year or 2. Then he sold it and moved back to West Sacramento, and he lived there for probably 8 or 9 years, maybe 8. And then he also, I helped his son or his daughter and son-in-law buy a property, sell a property, buy a property, and sell a property in the 15 years. I have helped his other daughter buy a property, sell a property, buy his grandma's property and sell that one and buy another one. I was like, what did she do? And then I helped his mom buy a property, sell a property. And I helped his brother do a referral down in Southern California. I think I'm missing a couple in there, but he hasn't moved that much, but he's, in that family. I'm basically part of the family now.
Wow. And then when somebody passes away, you're going to end up selling the property again.
Right?
Oh my goodness.
So anyways, I told him if he called me again to
life.
sell the property they're in now, that I would tell him that he can't move. He's stuck there forever. Okay. So, right, we're always going to plug in, continue to nurture those people and ask for those referrals. We'll also ask for reviews so that it can help us to gain more clients. Does anybody have any questions about your database, about feeding it, nurturing it, growing it, how you should be connecting with your clients on an annual basis, putting together a plan, asking for referrals? Any questions, thoughts, or ahas?
No, but I'm just going to throw 20 houses on my radar. 20 houses on my radar.
20 houses.
To feature 18. Just kidding. Just kidding. That is amazing.
Okay. Let's see here. Heather made a comment about people always look to like Christmas cards, but skip over Thanksgiving. So they said instead of sending Christmas cards, you have a better chance of remembering what you sent at Thanksgiving than Christmas, right? Or a New Year's card, right? So pick a holiday somebody's not already sending cards. Let's see. Love that. Oh, the one app with the card information. So that's nice to have. Perfect. And if you don't want to There's programs too for those cards, like send out cards or AM cards that'll help you send out those birthday and holiday cards that's you can send out systematically. Or as you're scrolling through Facebook and you notice that somebody's dog died or their mom's really sick, you can like log in and send them like a sympathy card or whatever. So those programs are kind of good to have on hand because you have the ability to like throw it out there and stay in contact with those people as you see things. You can also, like I had a friend that her horse passed away. So I went through her social media feed and I pulled out pictures of the horse, and you can actually put them onto the cards and then mail it out there. So it was like a condolence with like actual pictures of the horse so that she would hold on to it and keep it forever. So you can do fun things like that through those programs.
I know I've not been in here for a while, but I just want to tell you guys, if you haven't got on the OneSuite app on your phone that has it's a built-in, I know I've heard a couple people talking about like getting your digital business card. It builds it for you. And I've used it a couple times, guys. It's so easy.
And you know what's nice about a digital business card is you need somebody else's contact information to send it. Right. So when I talked about not having those paper business cards because you give it to them and they walk away and forget about you. Now you've got their information so you can follow up.
And it also has open house registration on your phone
It does.
with that same app. So I'm probably telling you guys something you already know, but I'm just telling you I've been using it and I like it.
Yes.
It
And you know what's cool about the registration for the open houses? Because I don't like people touching my stuff. I have issues. It's all right. We'll survive. But you can have them fill out those paper forms, and when they leave, you can immediately open up your app on your phone and input them into your database while you're standing there in the open house. Super simple. Or you can have them do it, right? You can have a tablet or something there for them to utilize and put their information in.
Anjana, you said it was the OneSuite app or the other app?
It's the new app. It's the new app.
The black and gold one?
No, it's the gold. It's got the gold background.
It's
Okay, so the OneSuite?
the OneSuite.
Okay, got it.
You got it?
I have that one.
Like
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'll share it in our group
right on
thing.
there. Yeah.
I'll share it in our group thing if I can figure out how to get it.
I'm like,
Oh,
can you
okay.
see mine?
I can see
Okay.
Is it that one?
Yep.
I just put it in the group thing too. I shared it in.
You also, in addition to that, you should have the One app, which you can brand to you. That's the one that does the property searches. So that's the black one with the gold circle. And that's the consumer facing app. So that's the one that you can share for people to search properties instead of searching on Zillow. One app. And it works anywhere. So like I can pull it up and here in good old Bonners Ferry, and I have listings, so they can use it anywhere in the country. Magic. Okay. Anybody need anything else before we sign off for the day? And I go get some water so my cough goes away.
No, thanks so much, guys. Appreciate you.
Not for this, but I do have to talk to you about something.
All right.
Thanks. Bye, guys.
Bye. On Thursday, we're covering. Oh, if you didn't log your attendance, do that. There are not too many people, so she probably got everybody. And on Thursday, we're covering the OneSuite. OneSuite.